Welcome friends to the newest edition of Seahawkers What If, the most unique Seahawks preview show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz. Yes. And this could not be, it would not be, we couldn't do it without the protector of the Seahawks multiverse. It wouldn't be What If without Mr. Phil Leidig coming in. Boys, this is our first, I think, real What If of the season. For those that don't know it just yet, part of the Seahawkers podcast network, What If is a unique preview show. So we're going to go through these great themes and questions that Mr. Phil will provide us, and Brandon and I will have to answer it in real time on our feet. Brandon, are you ready to do some Seahawks tap dancing?
I think so. It's time for the season. It's time for a game against the stupid Cowboys, and see, I'm already in regular season form calling our rival teams. And this is not really a rival team, but it's, a well sports hated
team. Yeah. Well, hated team. Well, sports hated team. So maybe it's the jalapeno popper to Jerry Jones's eye. If you listen to the flagship show, you'll get that. If you didn't do better, maybe it's not. But Mr. Phil, I'm sure that you're coming in. You've been waiting a long time. People have been saying it's a long off season. I felt it actually flew by. That's okay, one way or the other. But it is time for a legitimate Seahawks What If show. Mr. Phil, take it away. What do you got for us, dude?
I'm coming in hot. I missed the opportunity. I tried to get in Alaska, but it didn't quite work with the timeline, how everything was going. But I was thankful you had the first ever What If show without Phil, and it was cool. I just was sad that I didn't get to be involved. So I am glad to be here. There is no previously with the protector, because who cares about the rundown from a Dallas Cowboys preseason match from last week? We're not doing that. So you gotta wait till we get to the Lambs.
You had to have had like one standout performer though, for if you even had a chance to watch the game against the Vikings.
You mean the Vikings? Yes.
Yeah, we're playing the Cowboys this weekend.
Yeah, but the previously with the protector, Brandon, typally goes over the opponent coming in that we're about to play. So
okay, but yeah, we could do it differently because preseason.
Because I could have done it previously with the protector, but you guys already did 3 in, 3 out, so that would be like redundant.
I just wanted to know if you had a standout player from the Vikings game. That's all I wanted.
Oh, well, heaven forbid that I just give you exactly what you want, and also heaven forbid there's any redundancy in the Seahawks multiverse of podcasting, right? That could never ever happen.
Never.
Okay, well, let's just jump into this episode. I finally get to have a theme, so give me a crack at it here. Here's what I want to say. I was in Alaska, but it's been hotter than hot everywhere. Even Alaska, when I got there, everybody was complaining about how hot it was. And now that I'm in Spokane, it is definitely hot now. We're in the triple digits regularly. Oof. I don't know what it's like over there in Kalispell, Brandon. Is it hot?
It's also hot. Yeah.
It's hot. Yeah.
You guys doing it all wrong, by the way. I'm sitting at 72 degrees today.
Oh, come on, Clinton.
Yeah, at 72 in coastal Connecticut.
Doing
it all wrong.
Now you're making everybody jealous that's listening. It's hot everywhere. So don't listen to Clinton. Thus, because it's hot everywhere, unless you're Clinton, it only makes sense that for this week's episode, our theme would be HOT, hot.
Hot's too hot.
What if this pot is hot? Get it while it's hot. Hot stuff. Subscribe to this Hotter Than Hot podcast as we climb towards 12,000 subscribers. I think we will. Just keep clicking away on it. We're on our way. And it's the only show with all the smoking hot beards, of course, that we have going around. And we serve up the content while it's hot. Some like it hot. We 3 are coming in hot. I got 3 categories. 3 categories, gentlemen. We'll have hot players. And I'm not talking about hot looks, as how they look.
I would be fine with that. I can rate handsomeness on any man.
There is handsomeness, but that's not what we're doing. There's a hot seat, and we're not talking tight ends either. Hot takes will be the final section. We'll get to hear some hot takes as we head into preseason. Brandon will be first for the first what if question, and the first category, hot players. Hot players, Brandon.
Doug Baldwin.
Doug Baldwin.
First answer on the board.
Wrong answers only, and you are absolutely correct. What if a specific player, Brandon? Are we doing the music?
We've been doing the music.
I didn't even hear the music. Here we go, Brandon. What if a specific player can stay hot in this game to elevate his chance of making the 50 53. I'm not talking about starting roles or minutes, making the 53. And why is he the player you want to call out right now, Brandon? This guy needs to stay hot to make the 53.
Well, this is a guy who maybe hasn't been super hot in the sense of just standout performances, because I'm going to leave something on the table because I want to call out Patrick O'Connell at linebacker. Because, yes, there's been some performances, particularly at wide receiver, that we tend to fall in love with. And I say we, and I mean me. But we need depth at linebacker. And with John Radigan out there, he showed some things. He had some okay tackles.
Not hot.
It wasn't hot. And Ben Burke-Kirven, great to see him out there, but not a performance to where you go, yeah, I can't wait till we see him. I want to see Patrick O'Connell, our Kalispell, Montana native linebacker, and what was he? He played for Bozeman. So, he was a Grizz. Yes. So, see, I barely even remember what college he went to, but now he's on the Seahawks. That's what's important. And I want to see Patrick O'Connell work his way up the depth chart. So that way we have some depth at linebacker. It's needed with Vi Jones being injured. And we did get to see some good things out of Devin Bush, which I'm happy with. But I want more linebacker depth, and I want to see Patrick O'Connell stacking those preseason performances.
From the hot state of Montana, Brandon turns his me's into we's, and he's calling out O'Connell for all the Montanans to hopefully stay hot and make the 53. How about you, Clinton?
I love that answer, by the way. That's a great one. So, and I'm not just talking about Doug Baldwin. That is the right answer, by the way. However, I'm going to go with Jarek Reed. Now, people might think, well, 6th rounder this year, already pencil him in to the 53. I'm not sure. I think he's good. I think I like what he put on tape. I think it was New Mexico State last week. He's flying around the ball. He's up at the line making nice plays. In general, though, the DB room is packed. It's just jam packed. Yeah. It's a bit of a game of Seahawks musical chairs. The music is going to stop when it goes 90 to 53. Somebody we like is going to be on this list from the DB room. So would love to see the Rook have another solid game, start stacking that, and just put him into the near no doubt category that he makes the 53. So love to see Jarek Reed just get some action. And if the Cowboys are out there with their, let's call it, somewhat full arsenal early for game 2, which is now the game 3 of seasons past, preseasons past. Well, hopefully it's the right size competition too. So Jarek Reed for the win. Love to see him solidifying his chances of making that 53.
I like it. The angry little elf. Turn it up a little bit. Okay, we're going to turn up the thermostat a little now and move not from guys to make the 53, Clinton. Here's what I want to, what if a player, because you're right, this game 2 is where they're going to give the players that are going to play this year some meaningful minutes, it sounds like, at least a little bit. What if a player can get hot enough to earn a starting role or significant minutes this season? Who should we watch for? Who us fans should be watching for? This guy gets hot. He might bump into the starting role or get some meaningful minutes. Clinton?
This one I'm going to a podcast and me favorite. I'm going right to Miles Adams because I want to see, again, last week, thought he was one of the best dudes on the defensive line, just doing his job. The one technique, right? Playing nose, quote unquote, undersized, causing pressure right up the middle. We haven't seen Reed yet. I'm sure we'll see some Reed this week. Maybe we get to see some Draymond Jones. We'll see if that tandem comes to be. I want to see if Miles Adams can really battle with Reed for that spot. If Reed's all of a sudden a nose tackle, well, then why not Adams? I think Adams is a heck of a player. I think he's super fast. I think he's probably quicker than Jaron Reed at this point in their career. And if they're doing the technique where it's just get up field and cause havoc, I'll put some chips behind Miles Adams and say, look, if he's not the starter, he probably won't be the starter. How much time can he get in a rotational? Can he get somewhere near 50% of the snaps? I think he can. Love me some Miles Adams.
How about you, Brandon? Who can heat their way into the starting lineup or significant minutes?
Ooh, into the starting lineup. I would like to see, with the way he performed and showed up in the preseason game, Oluwatimi at center. if he has the opportunity to maybe get some of those starting snaps with the first team, I wonder if he could heat his way into that starting lineup. I think Evan Brown would be fine. It's just that I want to have that long-term answer at center. And if he's showing up, throughout preseason, making an impression, which it sounds like he is with Pete Carroll, then a good preseason performance could move him up into that starting spot.
Interesting take. Do you think they want him to, or do you think they're hoping to just kind of ease him in? What do you guys think on that with Olu?
I would think the hope is there just because this is the guy that you drafted. And again, having the young player who you see a long-term future with, they want the best guy to win the job. It's just, if you could have your pick, why not have a guy who's under contract for 4 years versus a shorter-term deal?
Do you think that too, Clinton?
Yeah, I actually take the opposite stance on that one. I think that they want Evan Brown to kind of go claim it and put it to bed as the veteran, not a Seahawks veteran, but a veteran in the NFL. That's my take. That's my hunch, is that they're going to give him every opportunity to say, yes, you deserve to be the starter, and be totally fine with Olu. Go learn and just, keep processing, even though he's played for 5 years at the highest level in college. I get all that, but I'm on the opposite side with Brandon on that one.
All right, we're going to go to our next category. Hot seat. This goes to Brandon. What if there's a player whom you think is in danger of losing his spot? Who might be on the hot seat? Their play needs to heat up, or you're thinking they're going to be squeezed off this 53?
Hot seat.
Or even squeezed out of the starting lineup, whichever way you want to take it.
Yeah, I think the guy for me, if I stick on the offensive line with this, it would be Phil Haynes, but I don't know if there's really a ton of competition based on what we saw from Bradford in week 1. I think the hope would be for the team to have a young guy come in and do what we saw from Cross and Lucas last year, and then you could have that young core grow up together all on the offensive line, with Damian Lewis being the more veteran of all those guys. But I don't know. And I don't know if I saw enough from him even in the preseason game to be super excited about Phil Haynes. So he would be the guy that I would say would be on that hot seat and has that potential, but he's got to have somebody behind him, I guess, to heat that seat up too.
All right, Clinton, mild aspersions at your other favorite Phil. I thought I'd been hearing good things about Phil Haynes, but maybe I'm wrong. I need to go back and take a peek at it. But you got somebody different, Clinton, or you got anything you want to say about Phil?
I thought Phil Haynes was okay. I didn't think he was great on last Thursday, and I've been like a big beefy boy Phil Haynes stan. So take that for what it's worth. I think there's an opportunity there to potentially disrupt him as the starter, but I also look at it the same way I just answered the Evan Brown part. I think they want him to be the starter, and we'll give him the opportunities. I think he was fine enough. Let's see how that continues on as we head into tougher competition. My answer on this one, I'm going to give you a bit of a menage a trois to say I don't know which one is the leader right now in the clubhouse, if you will. The battle between I almost knocked over a lot of water. That was really close. That was one of those things where you hit the water, the whole thing moves, but then it comes back because of gravity and physics. So
and you're not the one that's hot over there in Northeast USA either. So you don't need to get splashed.
Luck was on my side there. And all right, so my menage a trois. So we're talking Darrell Taylor, Boye Mafe, and Derek Hall. Yeah. So who comes out on top? And I realized that, hey, maybe Derek Hall is behind Uchenna, meaning sidewise and all, where they line up, and I get all that. I think it's very interesting because it looks to me like Boye is the best edge setter of the three. So check that box for him. Yeah. Darrell Taylor, probably still the best pure rusher of the three.
Sure.
Is it possible Derek Hall is the best football player of the three? He might be. Now, again, they may not rush a rookie, and they might just be like, hey, rotational, go in, do your thing. However, I think they want to give Derek Hall all the opportunities to win this race potentially. So that's what I'll be watching for there too. Taylor's still out, right? Taylor's still not suiting up yet. Is that correct?
He's not ready for a little
bit.
Right.
So that's not helping him. So really watching Boye versus Hall snaps and who's between setting the edge and then just getting pure pass rush ability going, who's winning that? Because that might end up determining who's the starter or who gets the majority of the snaps when it comes to a week 1, week 2. So that's where my eyes will be.
Cool. What's awesome about that position is we can use them all, right?
Yes.
I mean,
yep.
And it's pretty sweet. All these hard choices. I love it that Pete's got hard choices everywhere.
Good problems.
That's
good
a
problems,
good thing.
right? Yep.
That's a good thing. Okay. On the other part of the hot seat, I went a little different route on this question, but what if, Clinton, a position group coach or a position group is on your personal hot seat? What position group needs to show improvement? As we watch them play the Cowboys this week, you want to see this group show improvement to cool from your personal hot seat.
Okay, so there's a couple that I think we could discuss. So I'll go with the one that I think maybe people are not thinking about as much as I am still. I'm still like, what's up with our linebacking crew? I don't quite still get it yet. And
the best
really,
ones aren't playing.
Yeah, I really like what I saw with Devin Bush. Right? I think that was very, very encouraging. There's some great tape out there, super fast, just getting through the holes, like really, really aggressive and just understanding where to go. So I really like that. Obviously, we have not seen Bobby yet. Jordan Brooks comes back. It's more about the intrigue at that position. Jordan Brooks comes back off the pup. Obviously not going to play, but just yet. We'll see if he's even ready for week 1 or week 2. Basically, we know he'll be ready between the first 4 weeks. Otherwise, why would you take him off the pup at this point? And then there's the rest. O'Connell's the world and Radigan and a lot of folks that I don't know that are NFL caliber in terms of depth-wise. We shall see. So that part to me still needs to get a lot more solidified.
I would be nice to see, but he can't get healthy.
He's banged up for a while now too, right? So that's part of it as well, Phil. So linebacker core, do we get to see Bobby? What does Bobby and Bush look like? I would really want to see them both together and a lot of intrigue there. So I need a little more convincing before I'm feeling comfy with our linebacker core heading into this year.
How about you, Brandon? What group or group coach is on your personal hot seat?
Mine is also on the defensive side of the ball. Mine is on the interior of the defensive line, and it's similar reasons. You don't want to get beat with the run up the middle like we've seen in the past couple of years with the run defense. I mean, the shortest way upfield is through that interior of the defensive line, and we saw them giving up 4 or 5 yard chunks in the game against the Vikings relatively routinely early on. So if they can shore that up, especially getting the starters out there on the field, Jaron Reed, Draymond Jones, and if they can stop fortunately, I guess it's going to be against whoever's not Tony Pollard in the backfield for the Cowboys. But I'd like to see that person stopped then if that's, if we're not going to see Tony.
Those two kind of work together. We need some good harmony between the inside linebackers and the defensive line. We'd all like to see them working togetger for sure. Yeah.
Well, real quick, the Cowboys have the what's the really small running back that the dad's a coach on the team. He's like 5'5", but he's on that team, right? Deuce.
Yeah. Is he going to be playing?
I think
Probably.
so. He's been lighting it up.
Like 6th or 7th round pick.
Yeah, he's been absolutely tearing it up to the point, like, in general, just tearing it up that folks are like.
Malik Davis?
No.
Deuce
Vaughn. There he's okay. Deuce Vaughn. They have him as 4th on the depth chart currently on our lads. However, everything that I've heard from different pods I listen to that are like NFL wide, that he is tearing it up at extremely and yeah, he's 5'5", but he's just really, really quick, extraordinarily fast. So I'm sure we'll be talking about him in the post game and things of that nature, being like, did you see Deuce Vaughn move? So that'll be a cool challenge because that dude is just hyper fast. So let's see what we can do.
Yeah, love it. Let's stop the run. And I think I heard we didn't give him a run longer than 9 yards last week. That was pretty good, right?
Yeah, it was encouraging. And they cleaned up the whatever troubles they were having early on. So
the edge was kind of shaky in the beginning, and it seemed to get better.
Very beginning, like first half of the first quarter was like, ooh, this feels all too familiar. And then it got better.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, Why did it get better? Was it personnel they swapped out? Was it personnel we swapped in? So
tackling was better. Tackling was really rough early on.
Yeah. So we'll see, and that makes sense because they haven't tackled in months and months and months.
And if we'll see starters out there, that's what we could see this time too. So
I don't want Bobby to hit anybody. I just want him to go out there and wear the green dot and tell people where to be. I want him to be safe and get everybody in the right spot just to see how that looks. But I guess we're gonna have to wait for the Lambs game for that.
Right. You go tell Bobby that not to go hit somebody.
Yeah. Okay.
Bobby will be fine.
Let's keep moving. Speaking of hot takes, because that's kind of hot. That's not going to happen. Brandon first on hot takes. Brandon, what if you gave us a hot take about preseason games in general? Could you tell us? It's just the three of us here. Your quiet, private feelings about these exhibition matches, preseason games. Do you have a hot take, a unique Brandon take about preseason?
Yeah. Scoring points in the first quarter of preseason game matters. It matters.
Yeah, that's true. Especially in game 2.
And so maybe that isn't a hot take, but people
you're right.
say that preseason doesn't matter. But it matters because I care. And I want to see our team go out, score points, get a lead early on. And then, carry that lead with the other backup players behind them because you want to go on to win. And winning also matters in the preseason because you want to start developing that culture of winning. Yeah. So, scoring points, winning in the preseason, it matters.
Good. I heard Pete on several platforms say that's why these preseason games are important. So I think he's caring about them. I get the sense he's caring about them. Clinton, do you have a hot take about preseason games? Maybe something secret just to share with us?
Just between us lads here. For me, I'm more excited about preseason games than I've ever been in my life, which is just kind of cool. And I think from a momentum perspective and just overall fandom, I feel that way. I feel that many people feel that way year after year after year, where you just start to get to know the game better. And, I'm 45 years old, been a fan for 35, 37 years of the Seahawks.
Yeah.
It was not until the last couple of years, and not just because we're doing the podcast, where I was like, ooh, this is really more fun than I thought it was to go deeply dive. And the reason is, if I have to get down to why, is because you get to see the rookies. It's Christmas morning. You get the new presents get unwrapped. You get to see JSN. Hopefully we get to see Cam Young. You get to see Bradford Pancake a guy, and you just you get to see Bobo. You get to see UDFAs that might be the free gifts, right? The 85-year-old aunt comes over. You see her once a year, but she does well with the gift, and you get the free gift from Aunt Betsy. Bobo is our gift from Aunt Betsy. So that's what excites me, is these free Christmas morning gifts we get to unwrap. And it's almost like an advent calendar. You get to unwrap a little bit each and every week until it's time to really roll. So I like it more than ever.
I love your answer. I don't think you could have done better there, but you hurt my feelings a little bit. You're saying none of us podcast listeners matter. That's not why you enjoy preseason more. That was painful to hear. And then you gave a great answer. So,
well, thank you. And thank you.
Okay. Well, let's go to the next one. This is a little bit in the ridiculous realm, and then we'll get to a more serious one before we close out. But here, Clinton, with you first. What if something wild happens in this game? Give us your hot take of something we just might expect in this match against the Cowboys. Something wild.
Okay. Something wild. Let me think about when I hear the word wild, my mind, maybe it's my heart, automatically goes to offense. So something wild on offense.
I thought you were going to say special teams, but offense.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Let's go with this for the fun of it. Something wild would be Geno Smith plays a quarter and a half, right? Yeah. Like something like that, 20 minutes tops, and throws 3 touchdowns. And we're just all like we're bonkers. The entire, all the 12s, Twitter, everything. We're out of our brains about what's about to happen because of this. Brandon can barely stand it because that means he got all the first quarter points, all of them. And he's expressed why that matters to him. That would be wild. So whatever that is, 20 minutes of Geno, 3 touchdown passes I'll even say to at least 2 different people.
Cool. I'm happy with these scores on every drive, but I like yours even better. Brandon, hot take for this game. Something wild.
Yeah, something wild to me. It's funny because I started my wheels turning before Clinton got to Geno, and my mind went to Holton Ahlers because for whatever reason in the preseason, like we love third string quarterback performances that stand out. Well, the ones that stand out.
Sure.
And if Ahlers was to go out there and throw, let's say, just one touchdown pass, but he tucks the ball and runs for like 80 yards.
Love that.
Because we started to see him in the Vikings game, pull the ball down, try and run over some guys. Holton Ahlers was not sliding for anything. And you saw Drew Lock out there. Oh, okay, should I slide? I should kind of slide, and then kind of slid down. But Ahlers wasn't having any of it. He was out there trying to run dudes over. He's throwing arm punts for touchdowns. It was fun. I'm looking for fun in the preseason, and I'm not looking for him to do anything that would put him ahead of Drew Lock on the depth chart necessarily. But with the option of maybe they changed the rule because of the stupid 49ers last year, that now if you have 3 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster, you can have that emergency third quarterback. And can Ahlers do enough for Pete Carroll to say, you know what, maybe for the first time in how many years we need a third quarterback on this roster just in case, and seeing some from Ahlers could make that happen.
All right. I love it. Last what if question starts with Brandon. And this one I'm very confident every diehard, intense Seahawk fan is thinking about in some way. That we're thinking about it during preseason right now as we watch these games. What if, Brandon, only 5, I got to use my other hand. What if only 5 wide receivers make the 53? Pick 2 to join our 3 aces. Who are the other 2 in this year's 5-card stud if we keep 5? You think about, we got Derek, Bobo, Cade, Cody Thompson, Aesop, Landers. I'm not counting Eskridge because he will be suspended.
Right.
But out of those, what 2 do you think have the best shot at joining our 3 aces?
If I'm going with the guys with the best shot, it's
or who do you hope?
Thompson.
Well, you can do hope or think. I don't care, Brandon. You pick.
Okay, maybe I'll do both then.
Okay.
I think the 2 with the most likely shot are Cody Thompson and Derek Young because they're the veteran players. They've had all that time to show what they can do. If I had to, I want Derek Young to be the 4th at least because I think his potential is still there. He didn't have a whole lot of receiving opportunities in college. And I think he could be a special, he has the opportunity to be a more special player. I don't know if Cody Thompson, apart from being a good special teamer and that 5th wide receiver, I don't know if there's much more that we can see out of him. So if I had to take a guy off, and then depending on what we see from Winston or Bobo, if that could be where we see the potential, maybe even Landers. I don't know if I'm just going to name everybody, but
thanks, Russ.
Yeah, right. Thank you. I'll throw. You know what? Just because I'm going to turn it on its head. I don't think that I start to fall in love with a player like Bobo. It'll probably be Winston.
Yeah, and Landers has a shot. Like Landers is crazy fast. Bobo's crazy slow. Like we have O-linemen that are as fast as him. But he gets open somehow, so it's tough to call. But you're most likely you think it's Thompson and Young.
I think so.
And your most hope is Thompson and Bobo.
Probably, but
or Derek and Bobo.
Derek and Bobo, but it'll probably throw me for a loop and be Derek and Winston. So, I gave all the answers.
He wants all of them. All of them.
Clinton, do you have a way of answering?
Here's my thinking. I think that Bobo and
you're still on this, Bill.
Yeah, Bobo and Landers. I think that they're going to be practice squad guys.
Okay, we've gone through every possibility in the multiverse. I just checked as protector, and yes, all these receivers will happen.
I could go farther down on the depth chart if you give me a minute.
Some of those others will never happen in the 1,000,000 to 1 shot, but the ones that you said all will happen in some realm. In our version of the multiverse, Clinton, who is going to make it?
I think it's going to be Derek Young, and I think it's going to be Bobo. I'm putting him in there to say I think the dude makes it. I just answered a commenter out on YouTube, which another plug, right? YouTube.com/Seahawkers podcast. subscribe, like it all. And they were saying Bobo's going to make this team. And it's funny, there's folks who cover the team who are there daily who are like, yeah, Bobo's making this team. And there are others who cover this team that are there daily that are like, yeah, it's still a long shot if Bobo makes this team. So there's a huge delta in even folks who are there watching this guy on the regular, whether or not he's going to make the 53. I think he does. And I think it's the special teams efforts that end up putting him over to say he checks that box as a base, and then he's a more wily receiver. And then with Derek Young, I think the Seahawks like the versatility in what he is, right? He's not only like the DK Metcalf body-wise guy out there to be that kind of size athlete. We lined him up as a fullback last year.
He can block. I love him.
We put, he could be a slot move tight end. There are ways to play Derek Young going forward that make a lot of sense because of his size and athleticism that other players don't offer. So we know from history that Pete Carroll and Snyder very much value that interchangeable piece. Look
he scores special teams too. I mean, if Derek doesn't make it, I'll be shocked.
He was a great tackler last year. Made a ton of plays on special teams for sure, right? So I think Young and Bobo is the answer. And again, Young's versatility is very attractive. Look how long Ballore has stuck around this team, being a good special teamer who's valuable elsewhere. And then when he had to go play linebacker, it's like, oh, Ballore can still play linebacker. He's not a very good fullback, but that's why Derek should run the ball now. But that's it, man. Bobo, Derek for the win.
Okay, we got it. We got it down. All right, prediction time, Brandon. The score. What's the score in this match?
Seahawks 40.
Nice.
With Dino putting all those points up in the first quarter, like Clinton said. Cowboys 9.
40-9. That gives us an interesting number. 49.
3 tiers from Jerry Jones.
How about you, Clinton? What do you got for the score?
Yeah, I think the Seahawks will do well. I'm going to go 34 and let's call it 20. 34-20 Seahawks for the win. And Vegas, for what it's worth, has this game set at like Seattle giving 7 or 7.5, which is a lot. That's a pretty big spread.
Yeah.
And for the preseason, how do they gauge that? Don't know, but Vegas typically knows what's up. So
they
why
know
not?
who's playing.
Yeah,
they know Gino's going to play more than Dak probably.
That's probably a huge part of it right there, right? Yeah. So 34-20, our Hawks go to 2-0, and the hype train is starting to get into overdrive this season.
Guys, do you want to throw a wish out there? What if Super Hawk or no? Got one?
Go ahead, Brendan.
Yeah, I'll go with Bobo because my earlier answer was me trying to reverse jinx him onto the team. Bobo, 1 touchdown, 1 amazing special teams play, and 4 catches for about 70 yards.
Jake, Jazz, Ferguson, Bobo. On the wish.
Melton, Aloysius, Bobo.
Jason.
Yeah, that one. And what was the slot guy that I loved for a little bit there? That was Arsua. Yeah, put Arsua in there as well.
He made the 53.
Sometime. He did. He and then he almost had that touchdown, and then I cried.
Okay, not talk about that.
Okay, that's fine. Back to good things. I'm gonna go with Zach Charbonnet with a YPC, yards per carry, over 6.
Love it.
Over 6. I don't know how many he's going to get. At least 5 carries, maybe 8, but averaging over 6 and would just look good moving people. That'd be nice.
My wish is that everybody stays healthy. That's going to make the 53. That's my biggest wish.
Phil, you have the best wish.
Thank you.
He won. Brandon, you won something in the Seahawkers pod, a flagship this week with Adam, and you guys were competing. That was fun and cute. Phil just won the best wish. He did.
I'm glad that I won my wish. Yeah. And so what if with that
we say
go Hawks?
There's only one more thing to say.
Yeah, just go Hawks.
What are we saying?
We sang go Hawks, guys.
We should say for the first time on What If or this season, go Hawks.
Yeah.
Go Hawks.
For the third time for me, go Hawks.